Welcome back to the channel. Derek Van Shake here. Chris Watts is the northern Colorado man who is accused of murdering his pregnant wife and 2 young daughters around August 13th of 2018. The day after this ABC7 interview aired, Chris admitted to killing his wife when he claimed his wife was murdering his 2 young daughters. His wife's body was found in a shallow grave in an eastern Colorado oil field where Chris worked, and his 2 young daughters were found dumped in an oil tank. I live in South Denver. I am 1 hour south from where all this happened, so this episode of Body Language of a Liar quite literally hits close to home. From his own admission, we know he killed his wife, but did he murder his 2 young daughters? Let's get into analyzing his body language during this Denver 7 interview to find out what he's subconsciously telling us.
Right now you got K9 units, the sheriff's department, everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
As of this interview, he didn't admit any wrongdoing, and at this point, it was just a missing persons case. It wasn't until the next day did he admit to killing his wife when he said she was killing his daughters. He is crossing his arms as possibly a defense mechanism against the interviewer and the questions that are being asked, but that could easily be perceived during this interview as self-comforting body holds since his family is missing.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's...
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shannan a few times that day, called her, say but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people.
You'll notice throughout this interview that he's a pretty convincing liar due to his strong eye contact, having his story straight, and very little nervous fidgeting. This is difficult to pull off because all parts of his alibi must fit perfectly in the evidence found and the stories of others. It's also difficult to convincingly describe that completely fabricated alternate reality. However, as we'll see, he made several slip-ups along the way.
It's like she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine, like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning, and Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house and nothing has vanished. Nothing was here.
Another major misstep in his cover-up that we'll see throughout this Denver 7 interview is his lack of emotion. His pregnant wife and both of his daughters are dead, and keep in mind that he knows all of this during this interview. If what he claims is true, where his wife actually murdered his 2 daughters, why wouldn't he be at least a little emotional? Think how you would feel if 2 days earlier you watched 2 of your closest family members get murdered right in front of you. Keep that in mind as we go through the rest of this interview.
I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nope, nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shannan, S-H-A-N-A-N-N.
What's your kids' name?
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell Celeste?
C-E-L-E-S-T-E.
How old are your daughters?
4, Bella's 4, Celeste is 3.
A person's name is their most personal possession. Say 2 of your closest loved ones' names out loud right now. What came flooding in your mind? Likely an image of their face and your feelings of love you have for them. He just said his dead children's names without 1 tear or 1 glassy eye.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think...
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now.
This should have been a red flag that something was up with him, because he's talking about how his family could possibly be kidnapped, yet no real emotion. He's not really showing any physical signs of emotion, even though all his children are actually dead, and he knows this right now.
Like that's what's in my head. Like if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like if they're not safe. Last night I had every light in the house on.
But listen to what he starts to explain in great detail.
I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions about your relationship with your kids.
Yeah, my kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. And just like, I mean, last night, like during when they usually eat dinner, it was just like I missed them. Like, I mean, I missed telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not gonna get your dessert, and just like you're not gonna get your snack after. I missed that. Like I missed them, cuddle up on their couches. They have like a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just like, it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that. I needed that last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on, and I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on, and know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it.
This is incongruency. He's telling the interviewer all the things he misses about his children, but doesn't show any notable emotion. Remember, he knows they're dead. He likely doesn't miss his children.
I want everybody to just come home. Like wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Now look at his lips. He's doing what we call swallowing his lips. This sucking in of the lips is usually a sign of omission and lying. He starts to do this a lot from this point going forward during the interview because it feels good to him. You're probably asking, why does it feel good to him specifically? It feels good because it's comforting to him to feel like what he knows won't ever get out of his mouth. You can think of it as his little deadbolt lock on his mouth or zipping his mouth shut.
What was she going for, like family trip? Or like?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
More sucking in the lips.
And that day she was back,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely got into bed pretty much.
Misstep here indicating lying with significant stuttering.
this might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back.
Slip up here. He openly admitted that they had an emotional conversation, which seemed to actually be a fight, and then immediately says that he just wants them back to divert the attention away from his slip up. If it was a fight, then there's a real motive for his family to leave the home voluntarily and show up safely soon, which of course he knew wasn't gonna happen. And
if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart, because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like, somebody has to come forward. Still no emotion when he's talking about his kids getting kidnapped, and even comes across as a little jovial.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast. I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you?
They're just like. If they need to get on a flight, just let them know, because I mean they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is, I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. That's what the cops pretty much told me. That first day I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
Last couple questions. What does law enforcement, what have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors, what's police saying to you? As soon as the interviewer says the word police, he gives a big nervous gulp. Police saying to you? He wasn't taking those kinds of nervous gulps throughout the interview. Obviously, the police make him feel very scared. Right now, this is what they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far, because yesterday the Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and tried to gather whatever information they could. And with the detectives, officers, and sergeants, and today it's, I mean, obviously with all the activity that's around, there's a lot going on around here, and I really hope that all this can lead to something
positive.
Did you catch what he just did? Take another look.
And I really hope that all this can lead to something positive.
He pulled back his mouth when he said lead, in an eek expression, in a sign of nervousness regarding the outcome of the investigation. Makes sense because he's thinking he hid the bodies where he works, so that's not going to look good for him if they're found.
What did your neighbors, did they see anything? Did your neighbors see anything?
No, like the police department went door to door asking, like, cameras and everything, just like nothing.
And my last question.
More sucking in the lips without any emotion on his face.
If you have any though, so feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch this, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shannan, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
And finishing up here, more swallowing his lips in a sign of omission and lying. Now, what can we conclude with this? Well, he admitted to killing his wife, so let's just focus on whether or not he killed his 2 daughters, or should we believe his story that he caught his wife killing them and killed her in an attempt to possibly save them. Based on his severe lack of emotion, especially during those key situations and the hiding of bodies, I think it appears he sadly wanted his family dead. And in that interview, he seemed to be satisfied with the outcome. From all accounts, he went from seemingly normal to killing his whole family. What do you think the motive could have been? Put that in the comments below. If you agree with me that you think Chris Watts was the one who murdered his 2 daughters, give this video a thumbs up. If you think he did not murder his children and maybe his wife did, then give this video a thumbs down. Remember to hit that subscribe button so new videos come right to you, and I'll see you at the top.